What a night. That's a song we used to dance to many years ago. It started with, oh, what a night. I don't know if anybody here knows that song. But it's a privilege to see greatness unfold. And I'm just so honored, I'm so humbled for the privilege to be here with you today. I've enjoyed thoroughly listening to everybody. When Doc was speaking, and she talked about how the ladies have been conned, she forgot to mention the Niger factor in that equation. I have some friends. I have some friends who say, well, you know what? Because when we go out, apparently the Niger outfit does something. So, okay, I leave that to your imagination. So, these my friends tell me, Wale, you need to make Niger outfits for us. So when we go, people can come and sit with us like they do with you. One day, my friend Kalongo and I were in Oyster, and this, okay, the bishop is here, let me slow down. Slow down. Take a deep breath. This daughter of God was there, and she came to sit with me. Well, sitting, and said, I just like you. You're the only one drinking water. I like you. Oh man, she's fine. I said, Ish, I like you too. But my wife, she's a prayer warrior. You will die, Anyway, and Prof, you have taught me. I mean, that was amazing. Thank you so much. And Liz, by fire, by force, I'm going to propose to you tonight. You have to be my friend. Can I come and kneel down and beg you now? You have, by fire, I'm friends with so many people. That, Kihara, in English, he has a bottle of Sprite in his fridge for me. Because that's the only place I can legally drink Sprite, because my wife doesn't allow me to drink it at home. So Kihara is my accomplice in that crime. And I have so many friends and I'm wondering, where have you been all my life? So I'm making that proposal today. By fire, by force. Alright? But it's such a precious thing. And just a conversation on entrepreneurship, I think there's nobody who has built a successful enterprise who at one time or the other has not either been conned or appeared to be conning people. Am I telling the truth? Yes. You get to a point, it's like, because you are making promises based on promises that never happen. Am I the only one who has gone through that? Has anybody gone through that? Oh, absolutely. And only true entrepreneurs will appreciate this. And if I was going to give a topic for what I'm talking about tonight, I would call it From Villains to Heroes. Because entrepreneurship is the classic home of villains becoming heroes. The point where all goes bust just because maybe your ignorance or your overestimation of your capabilities, or like Prof said, external dynamics that you are not, you were not cognizant of, and then people are threatening you, lawsuits are flying in faster than you can read them, and that's the point where the greats are separated from the ordinaries. Is somebody hearing me? Elon Musk has up to $500 million in lawsuits right now coming at him. And when you look at what he's doing, he spent $44 billion to buy Twitter. Nobody really understands what he's doing. With Twitter, he has changed the name to X. But you know what? He has been down this road where nobody understands him with PayPal. He has been down this road with Tesla. As an entrepreneur, if everybody understands you, you are doing nothing unique. And that, I think I would get very, very concerned if everybody understands what I'm doing. Even my own wife. This year we are celebrating 31 years of marriage. And my wife told me, there's My wife was my wife's a very expensive wife. And, she said, there's a thin line between genius and insanity. And I don't know which side you are on. Now, when your own wife describes you that way, don't get sad. You are onto something. Is somebody hearing me? You are onto something. All right? And so, leadership is there is entrepreneurship, there is leadership, and there's a difference. I'm going to tell you something. Leadership is a very interesting phenomenon. You see, the view from the top is strategic. The view from the bottom is emotional. Okay? So the guy at the top has a strategic view. So he's making decisions that the guys at the bottom don't understand why they're making that kind of decision. Because the guy at the bottom is only concerned about food and rent. You understand? But great leaders are able to make strategic decisions with emotional considerations. Now, we look at the entrepreneur. He has no time to think about the emotional. He's just busy creating this vision. And, the Bible puts it this way. That's why, entrepreneurs can be a bit rough on the edges. The Bible puts it this way. Paul plants, Apollos waters. God gives the increase. The entrepreneur is the planter. Now, Paul, the apostle, was called a con man. He was stoned and left for dead. The apostle. Is somebody hearing me? He said he's a madman. King Agrippa said, much learning has made you mad. Well, my mother quoted that scripture for me once. The much learning has made you mad. So they stoned him, left him for dead. And you know what that guy did? He got up and went right back to continue doing the very thing he was doing before they stoned him. That's an entrepreneur. That's an entrepreneur. Many years ago, I started a program in Madare called Zero to Hero. And it was a very simple thing. Go out there, teach them, train them, train them, fund them, and launch them. And my philosophy was simple. If their thinking could leave the slums, their body will follow. It was a very, very simple process. And I had studied, my background is in statistics, in social statistics. So I'm a cause and effect guy. So I had studied economic models. I had studied banks. I had studied Grameen Bank. I had studied so many economic models. I'd studied so many economic empowerment models. And I saw a loophole. And the loophole was that economics empowerment programs focused on the economics and left out the mindset. And you see, if the economics is right and the mindset is wrong, people are going nowhere. It's like winning a lottery. And so that's what we focused on, which we metamorphosized into what we call the street university. Now let me tell you, nothing has caused me grief like that vision. Oh, nothing has caused me grief like it. My vision will make poverty and unemployment a choice and not a sentence. And nothing has caused me grief. I lost money, I borrowed money, I was made promises, I made promises because of the promises I was made, I got into debt, and I still continue doing the same thing. Am I mad? And that's why the entrepreneur is a different species. Where is that vision today? I had dinner with the president of Africa Development Bank, Akinyemi, the president, and he said, this is something that can change Africa. Then last week, I met with my former president, Obasanjo, and he told me, he said, if we had this, we would not have had Boko Haram. He said, because the founder of Boko Haram went to the young people and said, I told you Western education was useless. You've been graduates for 5 years and you have no jobs. Come with me. And that was the beginning of Boko Haram. Then suddenly, now listen, when I now finally know what I'm doing, then everybody that I was hoping would come before, now they are coming on board. Some Japanese people say, we want to put $3 million. Some American people say, want to put $2 million. And I'm saying, you know what? It's a bit too late for that. Because finally, I know where I'm going. So if you come on board now, I'm in a Vitz, and I'm probably doing 80 kilometers per hour going to Mombasa. So you come with your Range Rover Sport. You probably get me faster, but you know what? With or without you, I'm getting there. Is somebody hearing me? And now, I can see. Let me tell you, and what do we do? And I'm going to tie this with what George is doing. 1 month of rewiring the thinking of young people. Then we put them into groups of 10, and we give each group 1,000 shillings. And we tell them, based on the growth mindset we have worked in you, grow this money. And I'm telling you, we've seen people grow 1,000 shillings to 50,000, 100,000, and a lot of companies are springing out of there from a 1,000 shilling investment. It's something very important. So now, everybody wants to get involved. And that's the story of entrepreneurship. Now, I can see how we're going to be an African unicorn and with $1 billion valuation. I can see it. I don't even need the eyes of faith to see it anymore. I can see it like this. But did we have very good reasons to close shop? Yes, we did. Did we have people who thought it's just a Niger con man? Yes. Are you hearing me? Do we have people who thought George has taken off with our money? Yes. And the secret of greatness is the stamina to walk through that fire like Paul the Apostle did, get up and go right back with the lessons that have been learned. Is somebody hearing me? And there's a degree of stubbornness that's required for this. Many people don't have it. We remember, I don't know if you remember seeing Mark Zuckerberg before the US Congress, the US Senate, being grilled like a little baby. And one senator said, what you have sucks. Alright? He was labeled a villain because people were asking, what are you doing with our data? He was labeled a villain. Let's not forget, John D. Rockefeller, his company, Standard Oil, was persecuted by his own country and split into 34 different companies. But you know, when the hand of God is on somebody, it's on someone. Those 34 companies that Standard Oil was split into, today include Mobil, Chevron, Exxon. Is somebody hearing me? Do we forget that, and everybody who is going to be great at one time will look like the villain? Rockefeller looked like the villain. There was a time in Nigeria, Dangote was regarded as the biggest villain. Because he could slash prices when your ship was in high seas for sugar and commodities. So there was no need for your ship to arrive in Lagos. It was already finished before you got to Lagos. Are we justifying some of these things? No, we're not. But the point I'm making is, today, that Dangote is one of the most celebrated people on earth. Are you hearing me today? So if you let that villain phase of entrepreneurial development, if you let it shape you, you will be over before you start. Is somebody hearing me today? So this is so important. And I took an interest in mountain climbing some time ago. And I had to stop because I snapped my back once when I was coming down. You know, coming down a mountain is worse than going up. Snap my back. But nothing best describes climbing to the entrepreneurial top like mountain climbing. Because when you're climbing a mountain, say Kilimanjaro, you are going to go through different terrains. You understand what I'm saying? There's going to be terrain of cultivated farmlands and rainforest. Then you move into a flatter ground. Then you move into desert. Then you go through different terrains and before you can get to the top. And I think that's a message God is using to speak to us. That if you are going to the top, be ready to go through those different terrains. And George has given us a manual for summiting. A manual for getting to the top. Is somebody hearing me today?
Yes.
And I'm saying another thing, and like George, I'm going to close like a preacher. So I expect about it. You know, Paul the Apostle said, finally, my brethren. And he now went on to write how many more chapters? So you don't. You know, the most unique thing that George has done is that a belief I had for many years, George gave expression to it here. And what is that belief? Telling your good stories and showing only your good side is not enough for you to be a great mentor. It's not. We need to tell our bad stories because people will learn more from how we recovered than if we just tell them the good stuff. And if we don't tell people the bad stuff, you know what will happen? Then somebody who is going through their own moment, they will think there's something intrinsically wrong with them, not knowing it's part of the process. When they hear, you mean the great George has gone through this, then it helps everybody. And that's one of the things I have seen in this book. And I remember, one day Jesus was with a man who had a withered hand. You know what a withered hand is? The hand is not there. And then Jesus said, stretch out your hand. Most people will hide the bad one and will show the good one. This guy brought out the bad one and it got fixed. Is somebody hearing me? A lot of people, and what George has done, he has shown us his withered hand. And in the process, it grew. And now we are all blessed through that. Alright? So, the honesty on page 26, he says, as one who prides himself on the ability to read a person well, I remain stunned at how colossally off I had been in my judgment. With a stroke of trust, I had opened the door wide to the biggest mistake I was ever going to make. The Africans say that's not African, that's not manly. That is godly. The ability to open up like that. And, it's a very proud moment for me, like George said. Many years ago, in this same hotel, we sat down and we were having conversations about vision. Conversations about what Optiven could become. This was in the very early days of my one-on-one sessions with leaders. Now today that I was telling George, that program has produced CEOs, cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries, name it, governors, but he was one of the very first pioneers of that. All right? And so I do a lot of that. Listen, let me now, when I'm about to round up, then I calm down. Is that okay? When I was young, I had attention deficit disorder. So I couldn't stand on one spot. And nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Are you ready for me?
Yes.
So this is the part where You will now fasten your seat belts and let's land. Okay? And I want to speak to everybody. Everybody now. How many of you have had entrepreneurial accidents? Anybody? You have? Come on, be bold. You have entrepreneurial accidents. Okay? Now that means you qualify for the next level. I have a friend who was making $1 million a week. And I asked him, how did you do this? And he told me something very powerful. He said, I never hire people who have not failed before. I said, what? He says, failure is the one thing I look for. He said, it's like if you've never been on a plane before. I remember one day, one of my guys that was from Madari, I wanted to give them a good time. So I was going to Kisumu and I bought a plane ticket for him. That particular day, the turbulence was serious. And it was his first time on a plane. When he landed, I said, how was it? He said, God is great. So what am I saying? If you put somebody on a plane who has never been there before, they will panic at the wrong time. Are you hearing me today? They will panic. So I want to challenge you. Your scars are your medals. Are you hearing me today? Today, we are building billion-dollar companies from Africa, from Kenya. Are you hearing me today? And the only reason we are building it is because he who has been on the ground does not fear the ground anymore. And because we don't fear the ground anymore, we're able to make even more audacious decisions. Are you hearing me today? We're able to dream bigger. We're able to reach further and create amazing destinies in Africa. How many people are going on that journey with us? Oh my God. Listen, right in you, right here in this place, are people who are greater. Greater than George. One of my students, and I'm going now, for real. One of my students, her name is Sharon. At the age of 14, she was selling drugs in Madari. And her job was to spike the drinks of men they were going to rob. She came for the program. Her mind was reprogrammed. The key to our success is reprogramming the mind. Now, guess, Canada, you want me here? I'm messing things up for you. ADD, see you? All right. That was her job. Her mind has been worked on. Today, she's in the clothing business. Ladies, please go on Facebook. Blessed by Sharon. And she makes 75 to 100,000 shillings a week. Wow. I have Ayu, another son of mine, who started a motor mechanic workshop. That guy has hired 7 other people working for him. I have 10 others who have started a data analytics company. So we have, from Street University, we're starting a conglomerate across Africa. And I have a dream of building 1,000 billion dollar companies from this continent. So, my parting shot is this. If you don't know what is possible, you will settle for what is available. And right here, in this continent, in this country, we can raise the next set of African unicorns. God bless you.